Hey there, everybody. Welcome to our new Big Brother 22 All-Stars live feed spoilers. And here, we've got the lead up to the veto ceremony. Is there a possible changing in who could be voted out this upcoming Thursday? We will talk about that, but of course, we gotta give the people what they really want, a discussion about Memphis and Christmas's relationship.
Yep, we're gonna get into that.
You know we're at an interesting point in Big Brother when the status of Memphis and Christmas, who are really not anything, but some people seem to want it to be, where this is like suddenly a topic of great interest.
It has been a dry season, folks, so we're all looking for something.
Let's get out those lighters and throw them into the dumpster.
That's right.
Before we get into this, though, if you guys like this video and this impending investigation, be sure to give us a like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, support us further, check those links to the store and our Patreon.
And tonight we're going to be covering Lovecraft for the first time. We've finished watching it. We're really excited, so come back if you are also watching that for a video on that tonight.
It's going to be fun.
All right, so let's just dive into this whole thing. So there is a live feed video that's going around where it looks like possibly that Memphis has leaned down to kiss Christmas and then go back to his bed. So I have watched this video a bunch of times now. It does, to me, I'm bringing out cold water Jess again here, okay? Right. Listen, I don't think that is what has happened. It's kind of strange that he would go over to kiss her and then go back to his bed. Also, all we really see is the back of his head. He could be whispering something to her. Now, I also, can kind of hear these sort of like weird sounds that some people are saying are like kissing sounds. But those same sounds are being made when he's walking away. So, like, I don't know what is going on. Maybe the mic is, like, rubbing up against his shirt, or I don't know what is going on. But I say no on the kiss. I don't think it happened. At least not there.
First of all, the fact that we have to admit to watching this multiple times, troublesome in itself.
Listen, I want to be prepared. Yeah. I want to come on here and pour cold water on something if I don't think that I need to, do this.
We are thorough in our preparation and research on... Okay, let's just make this clear. I love love. I am not here to destroy love and happiness for people. I do not ship this. I do not want to root for the idea of Memphis and Christmas together. I'm sorry. I have been through it too much with these two this season.
Listen, I love love. If they want to have something and something is blossoming, good for them. I'm of the other opinion. If you are finding love, awesome. I just haven't seen enough evidence that this is actually happening yet.
I have also just watched them fight about towels today.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what this is. Maybe this is like the ultimate, weird, odd couple of two people who find a way to come together despite the fact that they're both incredibly cranky. Christmas talks about Christmas constantly. I don't know what goes on in Memphis's head. I don't want to know what goes on in Memphis's head.
No. Well, what do you think? You think kiss? You think no kiss?
No kiss. I don't think that, I think there's, okay, this is the most important thing to remember, everyone, and I cannot believe we've already talked about this for minutes, but Christmas gets a little bit, it's gonna shock a lot of people, Christmas gets a little bit crazy late on in Big Brother seasons. If you remember, there was a time when Christmas was really into Paul at the end of Big Brother 19. Nothing really came of that, but this house... You're locked in there for a long time. Maybe at a certain point, she actually pictures in her head, and I don't think this is happening, but maybe she pictures in her head Memphis suddenly being like, hey, I'm Mr. Handsome Memphis. You want to come and hang out at my restaurants in Florida? Maybe that is what's going on in her head. I do not know. I don't know what Memphis's pickup lines would be either. Hey, you want to come listen to me be grumpy and talk about Big Brother 10?
I think that they're just in in a crappy position where they're both on the block. They're really only kind of working with each other. I know that there's the wise guys and Enzo and Cody, but I get the feeling that Memphis is kind of starting to figure out that he's at the bottom of all of that. Clearly he's on the block, so he's on the bottom of whatever is going on here. And maybe he'll actually end up going home. Maybe she will end up going home. Maybe they're just like, you know what, this is our last week in the house. Let's just fight and have fun and whatever. And I don't know. But for me, no kiss. I don't think it happened.
Let me know I shouldn't ask for this, but I'm doing it. I don't know why. I can't help myself. Let me know in the comments your favorite potential Memphis pickup line. I'm going to give you mine. Hey, you want to be in my alliance of life?
Oh, that's pretty good.
I don't know. Okay. Potential showmancers in Big Brother.
That's
I will
pretty
be
good.
your showmance doctor. I will give you. Okay, actually, no. I'm not doing this. I'm resigning from it because I don't want to watch
You
showmancers.
want to be in my alliance of life.
Okay, we're gonna move on and pretend as though that never happened. And let's talk about Enzo instead, yo.
Okay, we'll talk about Enzo here.
This is better.
Okay, so there was the whole wine gate thing that happened yesterday where Nicole had a bottle of wine, she hid it, she was keeping it secret from Christmas in Memphis, and she was having wine with Enzo and Cody and all this sort of stuff, and then Christmas found out about it. Nicole has gotten really deep in her head about it. I don't know if it's also she's trying to play a bit of game with it, but she's getting really in her head about it. And I understand why. This is Big Brother. This house gets into your head, especially this close to the finish line. I said it before, I'll say it again. I do not know why she decided to do something like this, because it could have set off Memphis or Christmas. It didn't. It was okay. But it's gotten into her own head. She didn't need to put herself in that position. So what is happening now is she is spinning this in her head over and over again. She's talking about it to Enzo. She's on. Enzo is now at the point that he is thinking, and this is a really good read, that because she is so stuck on this about Christmas finding out and getting really worried, he's actually starting to think that the two of them are working together and that she's kind of just being a bit overboard with this.
For those of you who have sort of thought, okay, Enzo, he's really fallen apart game-wise these past couple of weeks, like, this is a reminder. He's not a perfect player, but Enzo is a player, and this is what he's really good at, is sort of understanding social relationships and how they work. He's reading into Nicole's paranoia, and it is the sort of thing that has caused him to go to Cody and be like, yo, I think we should get rid of Christmas, yo. I think that's it, and I think Enzo is rightfully worried because whoever wins the Final Four veto, unless it's the HOH, they're the ones with the voting power, and he doesn't want to be in a situation where Christmas hypothetically wins that Final Four veto, he's on the block with Nicole, and then Christmas is going to boot him and keep Nicole, which I believe would actually happen.
Yeah, I agree as well. And I understand where Enzo is going with this, that he is worried that Christmas is going to become like a legitimate problem, because if Memphis stays in the game, I mean, this is better for Enzo. He's part of the two wise guys, and he's the one guy who is part of both of them. So, I mean, Enzo is safer with Memphis.
This is going to be one of the first times really all season where I think something's going to happen that it's not exactly going in Enzo's direction, because he's been in control, at least in part of a lot of things. He's been so close with Cody, and Cody isn't really down with the idea, as far as I can tell, in getting rid of Christmas right now, because his philosophy, and I think I understand this, is Memphis is better at competitions. He doesn't want to have to deal with that moving forward, but I think he's also just sort of aware of the fact that he doesn't need the same sort of pressure. He doesn't have that pressure to get rid of Nicole like Enzo has at this point.
Yeah, because Cody has Nicole, Cody has Enzo, and he's in a good spot right now. So for him, getting rid of Memphis, who does win a lot, Memphis may not keep Cody. I mean, you don't know what's going to happen with Memphis. Nobody knows, right? Like, I understand both of their arguments. Enzo is right, Cody is right. That's why this is really a complicated sort of eviction, because it really could tip it for either one of those players.
It almost kind of...
And they're the only ones that are voting.
It almost comes down to that question of which ally do you want to help more? Do you want to help if you're Cody, Enzo, or Nicole? And I think in the end, Cody's probably just going to be like, I'm going to help myself. And I think that at this point, getting rid of Memphis helps me more. And Cody did bring this up, and it's not a bad point. It's a little bit arrogant, but it's not a bad point of, if you can't beat Christmas in competitions, like, do you really deserve to win this game or go far?
Yeah, and this is not the first time that Cody has come up saying something like that. We mentioned it in a video the other day where he was basically like, I'm not taking Christmas to the final two if that's what's the choices before me, because she doesn't deserve to be here, and I'm gonna tell her to her face that she doesn't deserve final two. She hasn't played a final two game, so I believe him when he says this.
This is a time where Enzo just has to be like, yo, I need to strap in. I need to make sure I do these competitions. That's it. I got to put on my thinking cap, yo. You need to win.
No, he needs to put on his winning cape, and he needs to, get out there and be like, and I'm here, and I'm going to win. That is what needs to happen. No more hats. He needs a cape.
They usually have capes in BB Comics, right? Okay.
That's right.
Keep your cape from BB Comics. Wear it in there, because this is the sort of situation. I think the ideal for Enzo would probably be him actually, it's risky, but him not winning the next HOH. Because if Cody wins it, and then Enzo gets to win the veto, he can then be responsible for getting rid of Nicole himself. He can take out a winner. That's a good thing to have on his resume. And that also means he goes to the final three with Christmas and Cody. And I think Christmas would probably take Enzo to final two over Cody.
I absolutely agree. And this would help Enzo get to that winner spot. Enzo. See, we actually both were in lockstep that time, which is, I think, the first time we have agreed on a chance that David was evicted from the game. David,
we miss you, David. You are here in our hearts and minds. But
okay, so we also talked about Memphis. He has campaigned a little bit to Nicole, and he's complimented her, on some stuff, and said, kind of like, I'm not going to put too much pressure on you to use the veto, but if you do, that'd be great. But I really like you, and I feel like we could be friends outside the game and stuff like that. Which I was like, that's a really good thing to lean into, because that is something that not just Nicole, but I think a lot of the Big Brother alumni really like about this game, is that a lot of them are friends outside the game and make these lifelong friendships, because you're living with somebody for 3 months and it's an experience like no other. And I think that for Nicole, she, we heard her talking about the Tyler thing, being like, oh, I'm really worried, we're not going to be friends outside this game, and, Angela's going to be mad at me and Tyler won't be my friend, kind of thing. So do I think Nicole and Memphis are going to be like the best of buddies? No, but it's a good thing to sort of lean into, because I think that that's talking Nicole's language.
I think it's absolutely a good thing to talk about, especially in the event that Memphis does stay. Memphis somehow gets to the end. It's something that could help him if Nicole is potentially on the jury. Jury management and social game has not been Memphis's strength at all. But I think conversations like this, they're mostly just conducive to trying to not apply too much pressure on her, because I think also he knows that she's probably not going to use the veto here, and there's no sense in sort of driving her up the wall further. I think if you are Memphis at this point, the best thing that you can probably do in your mind is lay back, check in with people, because you don't want to get too comfortable, because we know how people feel about that with the unwritten rules of Big Brother.
Yep.
But you don't want to be so crazy that you don't violate that rule of being too paranoid, and I think you're probably going to hope that Christmas is just going to blow up and lose her mind at some point over the next few days and sort of sink her own game in the process.
Yeah, for sure. And it could happen. It's just, I think the biggest thing are going to be these conversations over the next few days between Enzo, between Cody. I mean, they know that Nicole wants Memphis out, so they understand that that's what's sitting there for her. But they have to come to their conclusion of who they want gone. And if it's not Memphis, then they need to go and talk to Nicole and convince her why this is the way that it's got to go and what is the most important, how they can make that happen, because without Nicole, they need to keep that threesome together for right now.
If you are Memphis at this point, this is the only main thing to focus on. Go to Cody and promise him everything in the world these next few days. Be like, I'll name my next restaurant Cody's after you. I'll let Paulie work in the kitchen doing those pies like he did in Big Brother 18. Like, just make a bunch of promises to Cody. Say, game-wise, say you'll throw an HOH to him or throw a veto to him, or you'll make sure you get rid of Nicole. You gotta do something to appeal to Cody to make him want to go through with potentially making Nicole mad.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of it will also land on how Christmas acts this week, because I mean that can change things as well. Memphis is going to be pretty just laid back through most of this. I mean, I think he feels, I know he's on the block, but I think he feels pretty comfortable where he is, that he thinks he's going to end up staying, and he very well might.
Don't get me wrong. I will be very entertained if Memphis does get blindsided. I think this will be the justice that I need after being so mad at Memphis for most of the season.
Yep.
But we'll see where the next few days go. We will wrap up this video now. But of course, let us know all your thoughts and comments. I am already terrified to read some of the Memphis and Christmas ones. But
yeah, if you don't agree with me and you think that they were locking lips, let me know. I don't.
If you guys do like this video, subscribe, give us a like, support us further, check those links to the store, our Patreon, and we'll see you here next time.